Hello viewers, this is David Blakeslee welcoming you to the first installment of Criterion Reactions, a series of short videos that I'll be making as I review recent releases from the Criterion Collection. For those of you who don't know me, and even those who do, I've been doing blogging and podcasting about the Criterion films for over 10 years now. It's my first venture into video, and excited to have you along as I kind of give you my quick reactions and impressions of the great new films released by the Criterion Collection. Today we're going to be talking about Spine number 964. This is Harold Lloyd starring in The Kid Brother. This is a 1927 film. It's the fourth release that Criterion has dedicated to the films of Harold Lloyd. I'm going to lay them out there for you in just a moment here. So, number 4 here, The Kid Brother. This was preceded by the first Harold Lloyd feature, Safety Last, with that iconic hanging from the clock scene, followed up by The Freshman, a beautiful dual format digipack edition here with both Blu-ray and DVDs. It has not been released in a Blu-ray only edition, so for those of you who are a little bit obsessive about making sure all your cases match, sorry, can't help you quite yet. But it's a very gorgeous edition. I love the slipcase and the packaging and the style. And then in between the second and the fourth, we have Speedy, and just take a look at that there. That's a very nice, kind of graphically consistent, very well designed quartet of Blu-ray releases that I think look very handsome on the shelf, and I hope we get more. Let's talk a little bit about The Kid Brother. This is a film that's set, unlike the three features preceding it, this is set in more of a rural, rustic, Americana type of setting. A small town that could be kind of anywhere out west USA, about a family led by a father. He's the sheriff, the big man in town. He's got two strapping older sons, and then there's the runt of the litter, the little weakling, which of course is Harold Lloyd and the kid brother. The first third of the film or so sets him up as somewhat of a simp and maybe a little bit ineffectual in some ways, although you see right off the bat he's ingenious and clever, and of course that sets him up for a kind of a heroic turn as the father finds himself in trouble, falls out of grace with the locals over a little misunderstanding about some missing funds, and in the process Harold, which is the character's name as well as the actor's, he ends up solving the riddle, getting back the stolen money, winning the girl, and saving the day. So all in all, it's a very crowd-pleasing film. This is a pretty popular hit, and a one that I think delivers a lot in laughs, but also has a kind of a warmth and a pathos to it, which makes it a pretty appealing, all-family type of entertainment that I think all of you can enjoy. So it's a great addition. Of course, Harold Lloyd is one of the great, the trio of silent comedy from the 1920s, along with Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. And as we find out in some of the supplements on this disc, Harold Lloyd was actually perhaps the most successful of the three in terms of the financial lucrative rewards that he reaped from a very successful career. So, on top of a very interesting film and a very deserving feature release, some would even say this is Harold Lloyd's masterpiece, and I think it does incorporate a wide range of his talents in a story that's perhaps a little more well-rounded than some of the other more slapstick, purely adventurous types of comedies that we've seen in the earlier Criterion films. We got some really nice supplements. We got an orchestral score as well as a pipe organ alternate, and even a full commentary featuring Suzanne Lloyd, Harold's granddaughter, friend in the family, and Harold Lloyd expert Richard Carell, and then a film historian by the name of Annette D'Agostino Lloyd. I don't know if she's related to the Lloyd family or if that's just a coincidence, but it's a useful commentary. I mean, they do spend a lot of time explaining the jokes and comedy gags that you're seeing on the screen, so I would say don't listen to the commentary until after you've watched the film a couple times, because it can get a little bit tedious having the obvious stuff that's on screen explained to you as you're watching. But there's some great supplemental and background information by people who knew Harold Lloyd and had some good insights into his comedy and to his life. There's another supplement called Harold's Leading Ladies, which takes a look at the leading actresses, including one of them, Miriam Davis, who went on to become his wife. And it's helpful. It's good to know who these women were and to know a little bit more of the background lore. Anatomy of a Gag is about a monkey who appears in a few critical scenes, and he's one of the very select performers who had the distinguished honor of performing with Harold Lloyd and Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. So not too many comedians of the 1920s can say that, but this monkey did. There's also a very interesting feature called Close to Home. It's about the geographic locations that were actually quite close to Los Angeles in the studios of that era, although it feels like it's filmed somewhere out in the Mountain West or in a more faraway location. Some of the undeveloped property just over the hills behind the skyline of Los Angeles and the Hollywoodland sign. There's an interview with Harold Lloyd from 1962 as he's getting on in years and kind of looking back. But a couple of other really very fascinating supplements were probably one of my favorites on the disc. One is a kind of a video tour just created last year of the Mighty Wurlitzer organ, a pipe organ that has been meticulously restored, and you just get a real appreciation for the mechanics and the ingenuity and the technology that made the pipe organ soundtrack possible. It's really quite a remarkable piece of work and really enhanced my appreciation for that particular instrument. And there's also a nice tour guided by Suzanne Lloyd of her grandfather's estate. Harold Lloyd became a very incredibly rich man off of these movies, which is quite a contrast with his everyman persona that you see in these films. But he lived like a prince, and it's quite a remarkable piece of property that he put together from the proceeds of his films. And this is a nice tour. Of course, it's not in the family anymore. The estate's been subdivided and all, but really fascinating behind-the-scenes glimpse of what Harold Lloyd, how he lived, how he raised his family, and very interesting information for sure. The production in the package, again, just kind of looking back at these nice covers, we've had a very consistent run of it. Karen Stetler has been the producer of all 4 of these productions, with Suzanne Lloyd and Richard Carell giving their insights as consulting producers. The artwork by Sarah Habibi and Efron Miller, again utilizing some of the stills and publicity shots. But I really love how they incorporate the titles of the films into the kind of the environment that's being photographed there. A really nice consistency there that really ties the 4 films together. The bottom line is that if you are a fan of Harold Lloyd, if you've had any enjoyment from those earlier 3 editions, this is a no-brainer. You got to get this one. The supplemental material is very much worth it to help round out the picture of what Harold Lloyd is all about, and I believe this is a film that really is kind of right up at the top. I haven't seen a lot of more of his stuff, but there's a lot of great short films in all of these editions that really kind of give you the fill-in of his earlier career. I do hope we get more. There's some sound pictures that he made after this, and we'll see if they're done. I don't think they are. I think Criterion's got a longer game in store for us, and hopefully we'll have another 2 or 3 at least Harold Lloyd editions coming in the future. So that's my quick impression, and that's what I'm going to say to you today about The Kid Brother. It's a great release, and maybe I would say safety last is my recommended first Harold Lloyd if you're first just kind of getting to know about this great actor. That's probably going to be the best step into his career. But if you want to make The Kid Brother your first acquaintance, I don't think you can go wrong. So that's what I got to say for now, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.